Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to Chud's Reviews, where I bring you a review every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today we're going to be talking about Yakuza 0. This is one of my hidden gem games. I'm sorry to bring you guys two positive kind of reviews in a row, like overwhelmingly positive. But I've been in a good mood, been playing and watching a lot of good stuff. Not gonna lie though, I kind of played Yakuza 0 a while ago, and then I watched my brother play through some of it. And I've recorded a video for this like twice, and I usually don't do retakes. I'm a lazy YouTuber. This is just a hobby. But like, I just wasn't satisfied with the video because of how much I love this game, and I wanted to recommend it in the right way. And I do recommend this game to anyone. With the only thing, I mean, I'll tell you about it first, but I do recommend it overall. It is probably my favorite game of all time. Like personally, like you might everyone loves God of War, everyone loves The Last of Us, but your personal favorite game of all time in this generation, at least, like PS4, Xbox One, Yakuza 0. It is a Japanese game through and through, though. It's not a Japanese RPG or anything. It's just a Japanese game based in Japan. You know, they speak in Japanese. You have to read subtitles. So if you don't like subtitles at all, like I'm saying at all, like if you really can't stand them, then this isn't for you. But if you just kinda don't mind subtitles or you don't mind them at all, then play this game because it has the greatest story. Maybe not the greatest. Like, it's not outworldly. It is a Yakuza game. Yakuza is the Japanese mafia. So it's basically a mafia game with a lot of wacky things, and it is one of the funnest games. Like, that should be the title of this video. It is the funnest game I've ever fucking played. There's so much shit to do. There's so much, but then it's so serious sometimes. It has such a great deep story. You can't get me to cry more in this fucking game. Like, not even that things like are sad, like people are dying or anything like that, but just like it just has some really great acting and voice acting. I should tell you guys about the game. Yakuza there, you play as two characters kind of back and forth. Every two chapters you switch. First you start off as Kiryu Kazuma, and he's just like an inspiring mafia guy or Yakuza guy that, in a sense kind of like gets into some stuff and is kind of a rebel. And I can't quite remember certain things, but that's also good because I don't want to spoil too much. But basically, I know he ends up wanting to get out of the Yakuza, or doesn't want to be a part of it, and you can't just leave the Yakuza, so they are on his ass pretty much, and that's like kind of the story of the game, for him. And also, the whole game concept, like the MacGuffin, like the one thing that brings everyone together will be a fucking square parking lot. Right? It's about real estate, and this square lot, if anyone owns that square lot, they kind of will own a certain majority of something, or it gives them a favor. So like every single family, like Yakuza family, like the Dojima family, or the Kinshi family, or whatever, even the fucking Chinese mafia or whatever, it all kind of come out and come together, and not come together, but they all kind of fight each other, and that's the beef. That's where everyone is so stressed about. If you own this lot, you will own Japan, I guess. I don't know, but that's how they hype it up. You'll have to play the game. But the first mystery is who the hell owns it. No one knows the title. The owner of the place is hidden. It's not anonymous or whatever. And I'm not sure how. I'm trying to think how that plays into Kiryu's story, but I know that has a lot to do with everything. And then the other guy that you play as is Goro Majima, which is a crazy bouncer guy, pretty much, or the owner of a Karabet. Karabet? I don't know. It's basically like a little nice dining place where there's dancing and singing, and you can have dinner, and there's women there. And he's just a great character. One of the best opening scenes ever for him. The game does have a slow start. One of my very few flaws in the game. Game has a slow start. I've seen people pick it up and put it back down by the time they just didn't give it enough time. It has a slow start. Give it some time. It will pick up, and once it picks up, it does not stop. But anyway, Goro Mojima's thing is he's trying to kind of get back into the Yakuza. I know that's the opening thing. He has an eye patch on. You kind of learn how that happens. Speaking of eye patches, this game is fucking gruesome. I remember there are certain scenes in this game that I just love and will never forget. There's obviously the sad ones, but then there's a scene of this dude getting tortured. And his words for words was, he just wasn't breaking. Basically, they're trying to torture him so he would break and tell them something. And it was one of the coolest, most just deep, cool scenes ever. And then it went on to another deep, cool scene after the torturing. Like, this game just has filled with great scenes. I don't really want to point too much where to, but like, try to forget if I say this. But like at the end of chapter 6, one of the best acted scenes I've ever seen in my life. I cried. I just out of pure acting, just out of greatness. Like God of War makes me cry all the time whenever Kratos says "boy," because that shit is great. The voice acting is, even though it's in Japanese, and Yakuza Zero, the voice acting is amazing. I'm so glad it's in Japanese. It shouldn't be in English. It's that good. People just look up some Yakuza Zero voice acting, and it is so just pure, just greatness. You can hear the roughness in people's voices. There are so many good villains and characters. Every character has an important backstory, kind of, not an important backstory, but they're essential to the story. They are respected in the family in the Yakuza, and I would say that's another one minor complaint is you fight one of the boss guys like 4 times in the game. I guess he's kind of like your main rival, but and they're all done kind of differently and cool. I loved every fighting scene, but it is what it is. Honestly, there's a lot of things wrong with this game when you really think about it. I'm gonna say minor flaw here or there, but no, there are really like a lot of bad things you would think about this game, like the cutscenes. You'll be putting down your controller, and it will say controller disconnected by the time the cutscene's over with because they are like 15 to 20-minute cutscenes. But they're great. They are the most. The player models are giving off great emotion, great acting, more than most movies like real life movies I've seen. The voice acting, like I've said, is the greatest voice acting I've ever seen next to God of War, maybe, and maybe Last of Us. This game is up there for that, like for me. And then it also has some of the most chill moments. It has so many mini games and like side games. You can own a Carabet and whore out your women that work there, basically. You can play a bunch of old Sega games within this game, like actual full-fledged, 8-bit Sega games, but they're still there. Crane games. You can play darts, pool. You can go do what do you call it? The singing shit, but it's the karaoke. God, some of the songs when they make you do a karaoke thing with your boy Kuru Kazuma, right? And he's the one that's trying to like kind of get out of the family. He also has a dynamic with his sworn brother Nishikima, another fantastic character, just great. And Nishikima's his sworn brother, but he's staying in the Yakuza, and he's just so sad about his friend trying to get out and going through all this shit, and he's trying to he's so torn between not dying trying to leave the Yakuza or be with his sworn brother Kiryu Kazuma. And you think that's all gonna go one way, and it doesn't. There's nothing about this game is predictable. I promise you won't predict a fucking thing. It goes to some crazy places. Not like too over the top. I mean, the action is over the top. I didn't even say what type of game this was. It's basically a beat 'em up brawler when it comes to the gameplay. I just love the story so much, and I am a story oriented player, so maybe that's why I give this game such high praise. But yeah, the combat isn't bad either. It is a brawler beat 'em up. You could just spam square all the way through the game, but they do give you some really cool combos. You basically do beat up people, and so you build up enough bars to grab them, and then do animations to finish them, like slam a car door on their head, put them up against the wall and punch them a few times, throw them over your head and do like a wrestling move over a bar. Some of the moves in this game are wrestling moves, like they are ridiculous, over the top. Same with the cutscenes. It's a Japanese game. Stuff is somewhat over the top when it comes to the action, but I wouldn't say like the story itself will like be out of this world. It is a very worldly, dark, gritty story with a bunch of side things that you can do to take your mind off of it and relieve some of the just darkness of the story. Darkness. Another really small complaint, but it is a complaint, is in the beginning of the game, side missions, if you just kind of walk near a side mission, it automatically throws you into that scene. I would suggest that, I kind of see why they did that, maybe, if they meant to do that, because you should do every side mission kind of early that you can get and do. Some are really fun and wacky, like, teach a woman to be a dominatrix, or teach this band to have confidence. Most of them are pretty much like that. They're still fun. They give you experience. They're interesting. I did most of them just because they were interesting, and to get them off your map too. But I would say to do all those like early, for the fact that after you're done with those, you want to focus the story. I remember at one point after chapter 6, and I think there's 18 chapters. I just focused the story. It was story, and it was like I was watching the best crime movie I've ever seen in my life. With a lot of great action scenes and a lot of great, they give you a lot of challenging memories. You basically go through dungeons or buildings just beating the hell out of people. Goro Majima has a little bit better fighting moves than Kiryu Kazuma, but I like Kiryu Kazuma as a character more. But they're both equally great. Do their stories interconnect? You'll have to play the game and find out. But they are in separate places, for sure. And they definitely have completely different kind of stories. And yeah, I think that's all I've really got to say. The music in this game is great. It's not like a Persona greatness music. You know, it's not like mellow lo-fi stuff. It's kind of rock and roll Japanese, like just breaking the rules. Yeah, stuff like that. I got the vocals, I know, but just it's just dope to just have a rebel character and just his best friend. And there are some cool ass bosses in this game. Like, of course, everyone's just humans, but you see these old Japanese Yakuza guys, and you think they're all weak and shit, and then they get up there and take off their shirts. Yeah, woohoo! And you see their crazy tattoos on their back, just all colored in, and how buff they are. Then you tussle with them in some crazy ways. I remember this one dude that you fought, a boss. I'll never forget it. He went into like a crab walking position, like you know what a crab walking position, like upside down crab walking, and was like poking at me with a knife while he was in that position, moving in that way, like some exorcist shit. Like it was, but it was like really just crazy combat, for that guy. And some of these people have just crazy. Everyone has a great story. This game goes places I've never seen any game go, and it is consistent throughout. It has so many weird things that you shouldn't like about it. Like, it's not really an open world. It's like an open city. You're set in a city, and you can only stay in that city, and then you can't. There's invisible walls that don't let you go anywhere. They throw you in random side missions. The combat is simple if you want it to be, or it can be complex if you really get into it. You do like can pick you can pick your own abilities and more moves, by fighting people and just playing the game. Whenever you hit people, money goes flying out of them, and the money that you could accumulate throughout the game, or the yen, goes towards your abilities. And it's just all around a great game. I couldn't recommend this game more. It is a hidden gem for me, and I almost don't want to share it with everyone. I don't even really I don't recommend it to my friends. Like, I recommend everything to my friends. I'm always like, you guys should stop playing Call of Duty. Play this. I never talk about Yakuza 0 because it is my favorite game. It's just me. And but if you are a game lover, and I finally can do another 10 out of 10 review, that's right. Final verdict for Yakuza 0 is a 10 out of 10 for me. It is not a flawless game, but it is the funnest game I've ever played, and I miss it all the time. And I'm a fan of Yakuza now. This was my first Yakuza game. There's like 7 of them. Of course, you can start here. It is Yakuza 0. It's a prequel, in a sense, to all the other games. And I will be doing a review on every Yakuza game now, going on, from 1 through 6 up next. But Yakuza 0 is 10 out of 10. The next ones are way older. This is the most recent one, so I'm sure this will be the peak of it, to be honest. But I do recommend this one at least. And thank you guys so much for watching this long video about me gush about this game. I love it so much. Can't think of anything else that I can really remember too much of this game. Some guns. There's not really any guns in the game. Some of the guns areas are weird. I mean, the enemies have some guns, but you gotta like stand still. You can't move. I don't know why I'm even mentioning it. There's so many things unique about this game as well. You just gotta check it out. Trust me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.